Hello, church. It's Friday. It's Holy Friday. It was April 3rd, AD 33. Jesus had been up all night. He had endured mocking, being spit upon his face, punches, false accusations, and this was just the beginning of this ordeal. He would be brought before Pilate, the governor of Rome. There he would be falsely accused again. He would be rejected by the very people that chanted Hosanna, and yet this time they would chant, "Crucify him, crucify him." He would be whipped to the edge of death. Thorns would be driven into his head, and they continued to mock him. We read in Matthew 27, "Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the praetorium and gathered the whole Roman cohort around him. They stripped him and put scarlet robe on him. And after twisting together a crown of thorns, they put it on his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they knelt down before him and mocked him, saying, 'Hail, King of the Jews!' They spat on him, and they took the reed and began to beat him on the head. And above his head they put this charge against him, which read, 'This is Jesus, the King of the Jews.' And those passing by were hurling abuse at him, shaking their heads and saying, 'You who are going to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross.' In the same way, the chief priests also, along with the scribes and elders, were mocking him and saying, 'He saved others. He cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him now come down from the cross, and then we'll believe him. He trusts in God. Let God rescue him now, if he delights in him. For he said, I am the Son of God.'" The irony of all this that was taking place, as they mockingly cried out, "The King," Jesus was the King. When they mockingly cried out, "Prophet," he was their prophet. When they mocked him as the Christ, he was the Christ, the Messiah who had come for them. When they cried out, "He saved others, he cannot save himself," he could have saved himself, but he willingly chose, joyfully chose, to give himself to save others, the very others who were mocking him, and those that would come after them. Someone in the crowd yelled, "He trusts in God. Let God rescue him now, if he delights in him. For he said, I am the Son of God." Had they been paying attention to Christ and his teaching and his life, they would have known that more than once God declared of Jesus, "This is my very loved Son, in whom I delight." And yet the same God says he so loved the world that he gave his very loved, only Son, in whom he delighted. He gave him, that whoever believes in him would never perish. What does that say about God's love for us? Let's consider God's amazing love for us this Holy Friday.